What's going on, boys? It's Clements back on the mic, back with another banger of a video. And Warzone 2 looks and sounds so weird, man. I am so skeptical and concerned about Warzone going forward. I tuned into the COD Next event today, filled with excitement and optimism, and I've never felt more disappointed in my life. The last time I felt this disappointed was when Warzone Pacific came out. And by the way, just a disclaimer, Modern Warfare 2 looks fairly decent. This video isn't really about Modern Warfare 2, so everything I discuss and talk about in today's video is all about Warzone 2, because, personally I'm more of a Warzone guy. I'm more of a Warzone guy over a 6v6 guy. That's just me personally, but maybe I'll make a separate video discussing Modern Warfare 2 at some point. I don't know. I'm not all too concerned about Modern Warfare 2. I did watch the event, I watched all the gameplay and everything they had to say about Modern Warfare 2, and then Warzone 2 came around and I thought, oh my fucking god, what are these developers doing? They're completely clueless. And just, a little mention of Warzone Mobile as well. Warzone Mobile looks fucking great. I think the graphics for a mobile game look really good, and just because it's got Verdansk on it, I don't know, judging by everything that I've heard and seen in the event, I think Warzone Mobile might even be completely clear of Warzone 2. That's how bad I think Warzone 2 is actually going to be. But the hype that I had for COD Next, this event and Warzone 2 has been building up so much up until this point. Since the event, I've been on Twitter pretty much all of the time trying to look for key information I maybe missed regarding Warzone 2, because this event, it was big, it gave a nuclear bomb load of information for us all to process all at once. I was also intrigued what people's opinions were about the major changes, which, by the way, the major changes are pretty much everything. They have majorly changed fucking everything about Warzone 1 to the point that it doesn't even look and won't even feel like a Warzone sequel whatsoever. And I'm not saying that, just because there's something different about Warzone 2 or that something's changed, automatically means it's going to be bad and it's going to suck. But every single change feels like a huge step backwards, bro. Like, I'm not even over exaggerating. Everything is a huge step backwards. All these changes were completely unexpected by me, and I know a lot of people can agree with me on this, and, are just unnecessary. I live by a simple philosophy. Some wise words coming from Clements, okay? If it's not broken, don't try and fucking fix it. It's that simple. Why change so much? Why make such drastic changes to a gameplay formula that works so well for the current Warzone game, at least before, Caldera came around? We all know how that turned out, and we all know how that drove a lot of players away from the game. And I see a lot of people are sharing concerns and worries for Warzone 2 over on Twitter, and a lot of those concerns and worries I share as well after watching and listening to the COD Next event. I have to agree with the majority of what's being said about this game already. It sounds like they are changing too much all at once. It's hardly Warzone 2, quote unquote Warzone 2, if they are completely stripping the game down of its core functionality and gameplay. It's not going to feel like a Warzone sequel whatsoever. It's not going to feel like a Warzone sequel at all. Loadout drops aren't available from buy stations, which is crazy. They seem to be completely missing, at least from the build that was shown in the COD Next event. And, if they are available and we've all got this wrong and maybe they just weren't, I don't know, maybe they didn't exist in that build that was shown, it's kind of alarming and kind of weird to not include something as big as loadout drops in a worldwide reveal for Warzone 2. Your aim is to bring players towards the game, get them excited, hype for it, not to scare them and concern them with all this bullshit like loadout drops not being in the game. It sounds like I'm making such harsh judgments already, but I personally can't help but feel like this game is ruined before it's even been released, just because loadouts are what make Warzone, unique and fun. I see people on Twitter again saying that, change should be welcomed and people need to stop whining about loadouts not being in Warzone 2. And I'm like, are these people for real? Of course changes should be welcomed, I'm all for innovation, improving on things. Take Warzone 1 and improve on it, but don't just, completely forget about Warzone 1 and go off and make this completely entirely new game and label it Warzone 2, because it is not Warzone 2 whatsoever. It's a completely different game. It looks and it's going to feel like a completely different game. Even the looting system has changed so much that it's so much slower now. It's kind of like how it was in Blackout, and Blackout was its own game, you know, it was great in its own way, but that looting system is so much slower, it affects the momentum of the game, the speed of the game, and it doesn't look like Warzone, man. I'm looking at the gameplay on the COD Next event, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Loadouts are a core gameplay mechanic or feature, whatever, that makes this game enjoyable and stand out amongst other Battle Royale games. This is fucking Call of Duty, and Call of Duty has always been about custom weapons and loadouts, etc., leveling up your weapons, unlocking attachments, using those weapons and attachments in-game. I mean, here's something that's just crossed my mind. How on earth do they even intend on, you know, how do they even plan on selling blueprint bundles? Don't they realise that Warzone is essentially the main breadbinner now for Activision as a free-to-play game? Most people play Warzone over 6v6 multiplayer now, and if you can't use your bundle or Battle Pass blueprints in Warzone, then who the fuck is going to buy those packs? Who the fuck is even going to play this game? As a business, they've completely shot themselves in the foot. If Warzone 2 fails, they're going to miss out on major profit. And also, apparently, slide cancelling isn't a thing anymore in both Warzone and 6v6 Modern Warfare 2. I can't decide whether that's a good thing or a bad thing until I actually get hands on the game, but it sounds like, again, they are changing too much unnecessarily just for the sake of changing things. Slide cancelling, whilst it's essentially, in a sense, an exploit, for me personally, I think it's kind of like an exploit, but I mean, yeah, it is an exploit because you are manipulating the movement mechanics in a sense. It's some people could argue it's a skill that you have to learn and you have to master. You know, I kind of agree with that as well. I agree that it's an exploit, but it's also something that you know you have to learn. You have to master the movement so you can get around quicker and more efficiently. It's something you have to learn and study to get good at. But you know, if they were that concerned and worried about slide cancelling, they could have just patched it out the game, you know, as easy as that, but they never did up until this point with the new game. And if they really are removing it, I suppose it kind of lowers the skill gap, which for the casual player is probably a good thing, but again, I can't fully make my mind up about that just yet. I'd say because it's in beta, you know, they could change things around, but I highly doubt they can revert these huge changes in just 2 months' time for the launch on November the 16th, by the way. That was leaked by a Reddit user about a month ago now, but it's officially November the 16th when this game's going to drop. So, yeah, in conclusion, this game sounds goofy as hell, and I'm very disappointed in what's been shown to us with the event. By the way, huge hats off to, I think, what's his name, Modern Warzone on Twitter. I've followed him for a while. This guy got to play test the game and, you know, stream it during the event and capture gameplay, whatever. And he's come on Twitter and he's been fairly critical about the game. And man, there's so many COD shills out there, but this guy is being as genuine as possible on Twitter, giving feedback, even after being invited to play the game early and got all the exclusive info about the game, etc. So huge respect and huge hats off to the guy, honestly. So yeah, let me know what you guys have thinking about this down below in the comment section. I'm just not all that impressed. I think graphically the game looks fantastic, and the fact that the heartbeat sensor has a battery now, it's, you know, it's still going to be useful, but it's more balanced, which is great. I'm just hoping it doesn't have a charger so people can just sit in a corner and charge it up. But yeah, man, they're the only two positives I can really think of about this game so far. It just feels like a lot of L's and multiple steps backwards. This is seriously going to pull more players away from the game than Caldera ever did. So yeah, anyways, I've been Clements, you've been absolutely amazing as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and take care.